So I watched the finale, and I was really interested in how Jade spends this whole season looking for like a mathematical, rational code, and it turns out to be music. I was wondering what that says about him as a person, and even what that says to you about the relationship between those two types of things.
Hmm. How crazy is it, right? That this thing that he grew up with becomes the key to unlocking the mystery that is the greatest obstacle in his life. How nuts is that? Um, yeah, yeah, very interesting.
It's a bit mind-blowing. Also, obviously, the big reveal. If we were to go back, do you think there would have been hints along the way that we missed? Were you surprised? What was that like getting
Yeah,
that
honestly, I don't know.
information?
From a writer's perspective, it's possible that they've peppered it along the way with little Easter eggs. I've gone back to rewatch the series. I've rewatched seasons 1 and 2 before we did Comic Con in July, just so that it would be fresh in my mind. Um, but listen, Shana, like I watch a lot of TV, and I feel like within the first 3 minutes, I can sort of guess how an episode is going to go or what's going to happen by the end of the story or a mystery or whatever. I didn't see this coming, um, and it's possible other people have been able to predict this, although I'm not too sure because I haven't spent too much time on social media, like looking at the Reddits and everything. But uh, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Jeff and John had sort of put hints in there. Um, yeah, but again, like we're not. I'm sure you've talked to other actors on the show. Like we're not. They don't tell us anything. We get one episode at a time, and that's all we get. We don't get any special information. We don't get any hints. They're very good about keeping their secrets under lock and key. So yeah, to your point, it might be worth rewatching again, especially season 3 to see how the pieces line up. Because it is, it's like you're saying, it's a giant, very intricate puzzle.
Yeah, it is. Did you playing the character who actually does unlock the key to all of this and sees that there's something coming together, but he can't figure out what all this time, and he looks a little bit crazy to everybody else.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like having the word on the tip of your tongue, and everybody's giving you the space to try to remember it, but then the clock's running down and it's been about 90 seconds and you still can't think of the word, and like people start looking at you funny. Like that's kind of the feeling.
mhm.
Yeah, you're right. It's like he know he can feel it. He can feel it instinctively. He just doesn't have all the pieces to be able to make it make sense. That's why it annoys him when people say, "Oh yeah, there's like numbers in the bottles, but they don't mean anything." Well, how the hell do you know they don't mean anything? Like, have you looked at them? Have you analyzed them? Have you done regression analysis? Like, I don't know, like whatever. Have you like why would you just discount a clue before you knew what it? So yeah, you can see I'm losing my mind right now just thinking about it. But
I was gonna say, what's that like? But that about answered. It's kind of crazy making, even as the
yeah.
person playing the, yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, so playing the violin again this time versus season two with the Twinkle Twinkle, how do you like approach that as an actor who also has that musical background? These two very different tones that are so important both times, it turns out.
Um, God, it's such a great question and a very big question. For me, it was important to find a hook and make the music personal. Uh, Especially the first time you see Jade playing violin, he's by himself. He's thinking about his grandmother. There's this whole thing. Um, John and Jack and I thought about a couple songs that Jade could play, eventually settling on La Boheme, the Charles Aznavour song, because it's a song about someone who left his old neighborhood and comes back to it later in life, and everything is gone, everything has changed, and it's about not being able to come back to the same place again. And it was like when we realized that, it was like, yes, that's the song he has to play. Later in this season, when we, I don't know, they'll probably, you've seen the last episode, yes, you said?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so when he's playing the final episode, that is a new creation. That's a new piece of music that our very talented composer wrote for the show. And if you watch season 3 back again, you'll see it weaving its way through the entire season. It's a theme that's almost too subtle to notice, but it comes and it goes, so that by the time you see it again in that last episode, it's like it sounds familiar and you don't even know why. So that was genius on their part as well. So if you get a chance, like, go back and watch it again. Um, and the Twinkle Twinkle again is very important for Victor, right? That's the song that he needs to hear so that he can feel connected to his mother again. It was a privilege to be able to be the actor, but also to be the character, but to be the actor who gets to bring music to the show, which for me anyway, music has always been my meditation. It's always been my way of going inside and connecting to something, and resisting all the noise from the world. It's spiritual. It's as close as I can get to spirituality, really, is through music. So yeah, it was a surprise. I didn't know that they were going to do that in season 2. um, John reached out to me and said, hey, somebody said that you play the violin. I'm like, yeah. And he found some videos on YouTube and people started passing stuff around. I hadn't mentioned it. I didn't want to talk about it. And when it came out, they were like, well, how do we incorporate this? How do we make this part of the show? Which, again, is such a testament to John and Jeff and Jack, that they found ways to incorporate people's lives into the characters that they're playing, so that over time, the distance between character and person playing the character, I think, gets narrower and narrower. And all of a sudden, it's hard to tell what's what, and it becomes that much more rich. I think wonderful. Hmm.
Thank you. That's lovely. I think we've got a wrap, but I've had a wonderful time and blown away. I'm gonna have to go back and watch definitely with the music part.
Yeah. Have a look at
Mm.
it.
Okay.
Shane, thank you so much.
Thank you.